It's a real privilege to welcome you back to Innovate Africa. Do you have any idea what a neobank actually is? I know what a normal bank is, but what's a neobank? Well, I'm still trying to get my head around it. You are joined today by Evelyn and Muchu. They are the co-founders of Lupiya. Lupiya happens to be a neobank. So thank you very much for your time. Where do we start? As a matter of fact, what exactly is a neobank?
Good question. And neobank is basically online digital services that customers, consumers can access. So this would range from anything from credit to insurance, to investments, to payments that would pretty much be leveraged online. And that's basically what neobanking services would be.
Now, a lot of people run through what they do, how they do it, etc. I'm sure we'll get there. But I'm really keen on focusing on the core reason for your existence.
So to answer that question, I'll give you a backstory of why we started Lupiya. So Evelyn and I had a previous business before, a trading business, and we tried to access a loan for that business. Went to our bank, couldn't access the loan, couldn't qualify for one. Went to the informal market, and we realized that the interest rates were too high. They were charging 30% per month. And we looked around us and realized people like us, when I say people like us, young entrepreneurs, young Black entrepreneurs across Africa were facing this problem. And this was our call to action. And we were crazy enough to think that we could start a bank with only $500.
Just take us through that journey.
Just Muchu and I thinking, let's save SMEs. We were SMEs ourselves. And how do we create opportunities and ensure that SMEs can leverage this platform? And the whole go around really building Lupiya was to provide access to finance for SMEs and provide financial stability for individuals. And so we have $500, but what do we do with it, right? So we go out and set a website and ensure that our consumers can apply onto the website. In the background, there's myself and a loan officer just really tinkering away, looking through the applications. And of course, they know it's a digital platform because then Muchu in the background is also building the tech, the loan management system. But in the meantime, we just take $500, reject so many loan applications because clearly we don't have the money. But again, it gives us the data that we can then leverage to see how we can provide access to finance for SMEs. And we just do that.
And you know, one thing that was really heartwarming for us is with $500, we impacted 18 women that were part of a community group. And they were using these funds for working capital. So we related to this group of women because they were facing a similar problem that we're facing, needing working capital for their business. And just taking $500 and seeing it impact that number of people gave us that impetus to continue on the journey.
Traditional banks make everybody, businesses, individuals, makes them run away because things are so difficult, things are so complicated. How do you differentiate yourselves from a lot of these traditional banks? How do you actually create the value?
I mean, ours has always been reach and how you can access our product. It would basically be on a device in the comfort of your home or wherever you are. And that's one of the key things that we've done creating Lupiya, which would basically be accessibility and just how you access the product. And beyond that, we've been very intentional about what really the core value of the proposition is and just really impacting women, really being focused on serving SMEs and being very clear in our messaging. And so we've done that. And we've really built some cool tech around it and just really branded well as well. It's always good to have something really visually appealing as you look at the proposition. But another key thing is that enablement of ensuring that we look at alternative data and how SMEs can leverage our product. And because of that, we have a lot of SMEs and demographics that we can actually reach and really starting to serve underserved communities. And that's what we've really done quite uniquely. And so while there's segments that the banks do not touch, we actually go into that segment and say, hey, look at us. There is opportunity here, and we've done that. And I think that's been the appeal of what Lupiya has been, and we've been doing that since.
Many businesses have gone through COVID, don't have very good credit scores. So when you work with these businesses, are you like any other bank? Do you just tell them to go away? Or do you find other ways of mitigating risk, knowing that some of these businesses, yes, don't have the traditional credit score that traditional banks want?
Yeah, so this is a great question. One of the problems that we faced in our early stages of the business is trying to leverage transactions in order to arrive at a credit score. However, 65% of transactions in Africa happen in cash, so you can't really follow the cash to arrive at an accurate credit score. So we thought about a different way that we could arrive at an accurate credit score, and we leverage alternative data that sits on a customer's mobile phone to understand the character of that customer and really arrive at the decision whether they're bankable or not bankable. So that we found that approach is quite accurate and effective because it serves the population that ordinarily would not be served by traditional banks. So we're leveraging AI. We layer an AI model on top of this alternative data, and then we're able to provide an accurate credit score within 30 seconds.
Yeah, and if I can chime in here as well, post-COVID, a lot of transactions or entities or SMEs became digital. And so there's a lot of digital transactions that we could actually leverage. And if you go through our journey starting in 2016 and getting to 2020, we had a hybrid model where we had the website, had a physical branch. Post-COVID, we completely pivoted the business to a digital proposition. And just because we're now able to get a lot of transaction history from SMEs, and we're able to now also know their locations, everyone was interacting digitally with a lot of products, and it became much easier for us to actually leverage data from location data to transaction history to so many other parameters that we use for SMEs. And so that just really helped us mitigate a number of missing elements in credit scoring before that post-COVID was now possible because that leapfrog was really high for especially African SMEs to access and transact or do anything digitally, and that really helped us.
Now, the model that underpins your business is something that investors obviously want to look at. So give us some insight into the model.
So very straightforward business model. We work with individuals and SMEs, and they contract loans on our platform. And we also operate a peer-to-peer investment platform where lenders can actually invest into loans that we have. And so essentially we're connecting lenders or investors to the SMEs or the individuals. And what also now necessitates our payments proposition is to really unify our services to our customers, and so they can transact by lending, investing, and making payments on their platform. And so our business model now is ensuring that our customers have this consolidated ecosystem where they can make multiple business transactions, and we leverage that proposition and have expanded to Tanzania with it. Just ensuring that SMEs can have a platform where they can access all these financial products and have this unified place that they can do it either online or in the comfort of their home with a mobile device. And that's pretty much what we do at Lupiya.
Everybody talks about data being the new oil. So is data a capital generator currently, or is it a capital generator on your roadmap moving forward? And if so, how do you do so ethically?
When we look at leveraging data in our journey forward, we're looking at leveraging it for more effective AI models, and this would be more providing better value to our customers rather than a model where we leverage the data to generate cash by selling it. We looking at leveraging the data internally to provide better value to our customers. Even understanding from a customer perspective what their financial landscape looks like to even impact the planet a little bit better. So like what we do is like we can check what the customers are spending on, and then look at their carbon footprint, and then look at offloading that carbon footprint by either donations, and also looking at leveraging carbon credits in the future.
You've given us a bit of an insight into the markets that you currently operate in, but what lies ahead?
So we currently operate in Zambia and just recently expanded to Tanzania. So we've been piloting that market and looking to roll out our full proposition in Tanzania. At the same time, we're also expanding to Malawi. So Q1 of next year, we are looking at that market as another expansion market for Lupiya. So we basically have a Pan-African strategy, but in the near future, we are looking at Southern and East Africa. And specifically, we're looking at emerging and small markets just like Zambia in countries and sectors where we know would have a fairly or visible footprint in those markets, and that's what we've taken as our strategy into those markets. And so just very excited that we have this Pan-African vision to really be that neobank that really serves SMEs.
A lot of foreign investors, foreign businesses look at this beautiful continent of ours and they say, oh, it's too risky to invest in Africa. What is your message to them?
Yeah, so Africa is a great place to invest because we face these huge challenges, big problems that require solutions. If we think about right now on the continent, we have an energy crisis. So that energy deficit creates a huge opportunity in building the right infrastructure for energy. If you look at opportunities in the past that have been properly leveraged in fintech, for example, Africa took a leading role in mobile transactions, where M-Pesa is a world leader in terms of mobile transactions. And right now in Africa, Africa accounts for 50% of all mobile transactions that happen around the world. So you find these huge opportunities. And the next frontier is AI. Whereas Africa might be lagging a little bit behind in terms of AI in comparison to other parts of the world. This creates a huge opportunity for investors to invest in this area on the continent, because the problems that we face in Africa are unique opportunities to leverage AI to create lasting solutions.
Yeah, and I think, Africa still has this very huge market to tap into. And Africa is at a point where everything's been demonstrated and happened in every other market. And there's a real opportunity to get policymakers, entrepreneurs, the ecosystem together and make it right. So with the right market size, the right policy, and the right environment, I think there is this opportunity to really revolutionize what has happened in every other market and try and now emulate it here and do it better. And I think that's what investors will want to front here and really pioneer. And I think Africa will be a great market to just really demonstrate that.
Your success is tied to the success of your customers. So what are the stories that make you smile when you put your head down at night, when you just think about what you've achieved thus far?
Mine are always, every time we do an investor due diligence and we have to visit all the SMEs that we impact. And specifically, one sticks out, which is a honey business. And they started very small and really supporting a lot of ecosystem farmers in the rural communities and putting them together into cooperatives. And they're finally expanding honey, not only in Southern Africa, but are now expanding to Asia, where they are providing beeswax. They're sending pure honey to Asia. And I think if you had seen this cooperative, as small as it was, with very optimistic farmers, and we were able to be part of that growth story. They work with the large retail chains from Checkers to ShopRite to Choppies, and now are sending honey to Asia. And this is small cooperatives in Zambia and are doing this. And I think we've been part of that growth story. It's just really empowering for me every time I see it. And it's great. So $500 was able to do that and just take the business to Asia. And so that makes me sleep at night. Really grateful that we did something.
Finally, what some of the key nuggets, the key bits of advice that you have for other founders, just taking into account the lessons that you've learned thus far?
Yeah, just we spoke about starting the business with only $500. And for us, just having that strong call to action and getting started with whatever we had is very important for a founder. Like, just get started with whatever you have. We kept funding the business from pocket, which means we believed in the business. And then we leveraged our network as well. We did a friends and family round shortly afterwards, where we raised $50,000 for the business. And then our journey hasn't been a very straightforward journey. Like, it's been a journey of a lot of ups and downs, and we receive 9 no's to every yes that we get. We always raise funds at the most difficult time. So, like, at the peak of COVID, we raised our seed round of $1 million. And what that tells us, and we also raised our Series A, 8.25 million, when there's a funding winter in Africa. So that what that tells us is there's a lot of commitment in what we're doing. We have this go-getter attitude where we don't take no. We just you have to really, if you give us a no, we'll come back with all the right answers until we get that yes. So there's a lot of commitment that goes into the business, and this sort of resilience is important for startup founders.
And so some of the best advice that I heard first from my co-founder Muchu is African entrepreneurs don't build unicorns, but they build camels. And when he gave me that context of African startups building a camel that will really only take water at one point and go through a whole journey without any resources or very little resources. And so what do you do to make sure you get to the next growth stage or next phase of your business? And what really has helped us is really being lean as an entity, and really being clear and being very quickly about how we arrive at profitability. And so we've typically focused on that as an entity. And so we knew that if we were going to move from a pre-seed company to a Series A company in Zambia, in a small ecosystem, one of the key things was going to be the traction that we're going to make, and it had to be very strong, including really arriving quickly to profitability and how we're going to do that. And I think very quickly we did that as an entity, and that's really what has helped us to really raise even in funding winters. Of course, we never raised at the right valuations or the best valuations at the time. But I mean, alluding to Muchu's comment, is that we raised post-COVID and then raised our Series A in a funding winter for so many fintechs. And it's really just a testament to really being lean, demonstrating profitability, and really strong traction. And I think that's what we've done.
Thank you very much for sharing more about Lupiya. There you go, a bank that cares. Not all banks are made equal. It's great to get the insight into Lupiya. Now you also know what a neobank is. You probably knew a lot better than I did what a neobank was all about. But that is what we do on Innovate Africa, giving you insights into the businesses that impact lives on the African continent. I'll see you on Innovate Africa next week.